What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are back with another Premier League prediction video. It is time for game week 19, so we got some very solid matches. I was thinking about ending the Premier League predictions. Let me know if you guys want them to stay, because personally they have been getting quite repetitive, if I'm being honest. Like, I say a lot of the same stuff, but let me know if you want it to stay or if you would like to see different kind of videos on the channel. So let's start with Leicester versus Manchester City. This should be a interesting game, to be fair. Let's get started with Leicester City. Now, they have not been good this season. They are actually in the relegation zone in 18th place. Last game they lost 3-1 to Liverpool. It's pretty crazy, but Vardy I think was missing in that game as well. On to Man City, they are struggling this season. It's actually crazy. No Rodri might be the reason, as they just don't have a link, a player who can link the receiving the ball from the defense and just spray it out to the midfield or wingers and all that. He's very good at his distribution, and Haaland is struggling to score. He missed yet another penalty in their last game against Everton. Now, Savinho is a bright spark in the team with running at players, but he still does not have a goal. I think that will eventually come though. My prediction is going to be a surprising 2-2 draw. Moving on to Everton versus Nottingham Forest. Now, this game is going to be a great one in my opinion, so let's get started with Everton. They've been doing alright this season. They are sat in 15th place right now. Very good defensively. Obviously they play in a low block. They're struggling to score though. They got a draw versus Arsenal, draw versus Chelsea. It's crazy, a lot of draws. But on to Forest. They have been outstanding this season. Like, their form has been quite good. They beat Spurs 1-0 last game. Really underrated team. They're actually in like 4th place right now, so maybe they could get Champions League or Europa League football next year. That would be crazy. And my prediction would be a 3-1 win for Nottingham Forest. Moving on to Crystal Palace versus Southampton. This could be a underrated game as well. Now let's get started with Palace. They've been struggling this season. They are sat in 16th place right now. Ismaila Sarr, the standout player for Crystal Palace right now. He's been getting most of their goals and assists as well. They actually drew to Bournemouth 0-0 last game. That's a pretty decent result considering where Bournemouth is right now in the table, but they could turn that around. Crystal Palace can. On to Southampton. They have been awful, if we're being honest. They are sat dead last in 20th. They sacked their manager like a few weeks ago. Last game they lost to West Ham, and I think a baller in this team is Dribbling. Very good player. I've heard a lot of people say that his dribbling is very, very good. Now, my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Crystal Palace. Moving on to Tottenham versus Wolves, one of the most underrated games I think this week. Now let's get started with Tottenham. It has been a quite underwhelming season for them. Like, attacking wise they're doing well, but defensively it's just falling apart. They have the 3rd worst defensive record in the league, which is crazy. I think it's like mid 20 goals conceded. It's crazy. Kulusevski and Solanke have been their best players in my opinion. Onto Wolves, they have been not too good this season, but they appointed a new manager in Vitor Pereira. He's just turned it around. They are turning around their form, slowly beating Man United last game 2-0, and Cunha ran that game. He was absolutely everywhere, linking the attack. Scoring that goal directly from a corner as well is crazy. And my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Wolves. Moving on to Fulham versus Bournemouth. This is going to be a super good game, so let's get started with Fulham. Very underrated team in my opinion. Their form has been good recently. 8th in the Premier League, and they beat Chelsea 2-1 in their last game, and they were 1-0 down. Pretty crazy comeback from them, and Mooney's scored the winner coming off the bench as well late into the game. And on to Bournemouth, another very underrated team. Their form has been outstanding. They beat United 3-0 2 weeks ago, and the team is playing very nice football, and they are 6th in the Premier League. It's pretty crazy. They could be getting European football next year, but my prediction is going to be a 1-1 draw between the two. Moving on to West Ham versus Liverpool, yet another decent game. So let's get started with West Ham. They have been a bit underwhelming, especially with all the summer signings that they brought in. Form has picked up though. Last game they won 1-0 versus Southampton, and Bowen is so important in this team, just creatively getting assists, getting goals as well. He scored the winner, and Lopetegui could save his job because they've been getting some very good results recently. And on to Liverpool, they're looking unstoppable. If we're being honest, playing incredible football. Whole team is chipping in for goals like all over the pitch. Last game they won 3-1 versus Leicester after being 1-0 down, and Yakpo made a difference, and so did Salah. Of course, Salah is just incredible. I think he has like 16 goals right now and 12 assists or something like that. It's unreal. My prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Liverpool. Moving on to Ipswich versus Chelsea. This could be another interesting one. Let's get started with Ipswich. Not looking too good for them this season. Their form has been not too bad though. Like, in my opinion, they play well, but no results though. Like, played Arsenal and they lost 1-0. It was quite a tight game, to be fair. Omari Hutchinson, who used to play for the Arsenal Academy, was actually playing against them. I think he's a really good player, honestly. Just technically seems very, very good. On to Chelsea, they're looking quite good. Form for them has been quite alright, although they lost 2-1 to Fulham. Palmer scored a incredible goal, dribbling past like 3 players. Incredible goal, and overall their style of play is quite nice, but they're 3rd in the Premier League right now. They dropped down 1 spot due to that loss, and my prediction is going to be a 2-0 win for Chelsea. Moving on to Aston Villa versus Brighton. Now, I think this game will be very, very tight. Let's get started with Villa. Now, they're doing a bit worse this season than last season, but form-wise, it has been a bit up and down for them. And Watkins, his form has completely dipped. He's been benched by Unai Emery, and Duran has took his spot, but Duran got sent off in their 3-0 loss to Newcastle. So now Watkins is probably gonna have to play if he's fit and available. Now on to Brighton. They're right below Villa. This season they have been a bit worse form-wise as well. It's been a bit up and down for them, struggling to score goals as well in their recent games. And Joao Pedro, he should have been sent off in the last game that they played. He almost elbowed a guy in the face, and that was very, very close. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Aston Villa. Moving on to Manchester United versus Newcastle. Oh man, this is going to be a good game. So let's get started with Manchester United. They've struggled this season form-wise. They've been horrible, honestly. They lost to Wolves 2-0 and they got outplayed fully. I gotta admit that, and conceded directly from a corner as well. That is embarrassing in my opinion. And Rashford, he's being isolated out of the team at the moment, so he has already said he wants to leave and just take on a new challenge. On to Newcastle. They're doing very well this season. They are sat in 5th place right now in the Premier League. They're really pushing for European football once again, and last game they beat Aston Villa 3-0. And Isak, I mean, he's just one of the best strikers in the world right now. He is phenomenal. He could dribble, he could pass, create, score as well. Unbelievable. Now Newcastle are playing very well overall in terms of play as well. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Newcastle. Moving on to the last game, Brentford versus Arsenal. This should be a very interesting game. So let's get started with Brentford. They have been quite alright form-wise. It has dipped recently. Like, they drew against Brighton in their last game, struggling to score in recent games. as well, just like Brighton. And Mbeumo and Wissa are two super key players in this team in terms of goals and just getting assists and creating. Onto Arsenal, they're doing quite well. Their form has stepped up recently, and they won against Ipswich 1-0, which was a tight win. Honestly, dominated overall play, like a lot of possession they had, but just couldn't finish their chances. And we got some very, very heartbreaking news that Saka is rumored to be out until March, apparently. So he's gonna miss possibly the Chelsea game in March and the Man City game in February, which is two pretty huge games if we wanna like go on and try and win the title. But Arteta has got to step up here and figure out a plan for the team and a plan for the upcoming games. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Arsenal. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment down below as well are your predictions. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and let me know if you guys want me to continue doing these Premier League predictions, or should we kind of move the channel into kind of talking about other clubs like Barcelona, Liverpool, and just overall European clubs. So let me know in the comments, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.